All right, so you want to know how to sharpen your skills in trading in a bull or bear crypto market without losing any money. This is exactly what this video is going to cover. And before I get too far into this, stick around to the whole thing, because once you see how it's all put together, you'll be able to have a very clear sense of how to be able to operate this resource to your advantage. And it's very awesome. At the same time, I want to make sure that you're clear that this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. So you read the disclaimer. This is not financial advice, so do not invest based on what you're seeing here. It's just basically giving you a tool for you to be able to use and learn how to use it and benefit from that, okay? Now, that being said, let's get started and let's have some fun. If you like this video anywhere along the process, please feel free to click on the like button, subscribe button, so you can get more of these as we release them. And all the links that are here will be shared on the description below. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and if you're not familiar with Bybit, Bybit is a trading platform exchange that allows you to do trades in different markets, inverse perpetuals, inverse futures, USDT perpetuals. We're going to stick to USDT perpetuals. There's plenty of markets there for you to play with. The nice thing is you can open longs. If you don't know what longs are, it's when something goes in the upward direction, so it's going green. And shorts, where you're betting against the market, basically that it's going to go down and you're making money on the way down. That's the simplest, oversimplified way of saying that. So if you get it right on the short and it went down, then you're able to benefit. Now, this has they even do leverage. Leverage is multipliers, which we're not going to get too deep into because you can risk a lot, or you can also earn a lot, but the risk is really, really high as you leverage. So I wouldn't recommend that at all for anybody who is starting out. So what I would say is, if you are in this markets and you're really wanting to learn and hone your skills, so go over to this right side and you're either going to see it cross or you're going to see isolated. I would say stick to isolated and slide it all the way to the left, so you only do 1x, and then that way you can get a very clear picture of how effective you are in your trading. And that's it. So what else is there here? I think this is pretty much it on that. Obviously we're doing Bitcoin here, BTC against USDT. And the way that this works is you basically have some money there and you are able to set a limit order, a quantity that you're going to buy. You can put it in with stop losses and take profits if you want to. You can do post only. Post only in this particular case, it's nice that if you're able to execute an order, you wait for it to come to you versus you chasing it. And if it gets hit, then you're able to get in and the fees actually end up getting reduced, which is kind of nice. So there's that. And then obviously there's deposits and exchange and buy and all that, but we're not going to mess with that too much. Then there's the closing of it. When you close a particular order, we're going to see that in action a little bit, and then seeing how we can make that work to our advantage as well. Okay, so there's the functionality of it. The other thing that's kind of nice in Bybit is that you're able to use similar tools to the ones you have in TradingView. I still use TradingView as my overall because it helps me to be able to use other functions that I can't do in here. But it's really neat to be able to use the same tools in here. And I'm here and I'm looking at the 1 minute chart just so we can see the candles move. Okay, there's a lot that was covered there. In this, so you can pause the video, rewind it, go back to it, and then watch as many times as you want. The other nice feature about Bybit is that you can actually put the quantities in here if you want to come in at market price. Let's say I wanted to buy 0.1 BTC. If I want to go long or short, like in this particular scenario, it's dropping right now. If I wanted to write it short, I could, but I believe it, and the overall it's going to go up. So I may hit an open long, and it will automatically open it at a market price, so whatever the price is. So I'm going to go ahead and that. So you can see it. I went ahead and bought 0.1. There it is. I bought it market, and when I buy it market, there is a fee that I have to pay. So that will be taken into account. That's why I'm already kind of at a loss from that, but I've already gained some of that back. And as you can tell, I'm going up there. It's going. There's how much I've made so far or lost, and I'm going to wait for that. And we're going to show how to close this in a way that I can minimize fees. So if this thing, let's say I'm going to be very conservative, I'm going to go ahead and get out right about here, and I'll show you guys before the end of this video how you don't lose any money on this, which is kind of cool. I'm going to say that it's probably going to hit about 32,380 or 32,375. So I put 32,375, and I'm going to sell 100% of what I've put in. I can do 50% if I want, 10% as you can tell, or I can just simply type it in. And it's the green because it's in the long direction. So I want to take it in the long direction and see if it's going to hit it. What I also do is I make sure that this post only is selected, because if I click on it and it's selected, then when that trade hits that price, there's actually less fees. I believe it's no fees on this particular one, which is nice. And then what I'll do is I'll say close long. There you go. So there it is. What's nice about Bybit is that you can actually, once it's in here, you can slide it up, slide it down. You can adjust it in the active amount. So if I want to go back and fix that, I go to active, I click on edit the price, and 32,375, I think is what I said, or 275. Or was it 375? 375. 375. Select it, boom. And there you go. If I want to adjust the total, you can do that. And there we go. So we'll see how that plays itself out. If I want to put a stop loss in here, let's say I wanted to do a stop loss. Okay, if I didn't put it initially, I can add a top stop loss and take profit. Now the difference about these two is that when you do a take profit or stop loss, if it hits one of those, it's going to execute it at market price. So you will have, of course, the fees to deal with, but at least you'll be protected. So let's take a chance here and say that if for some reason it didn't get filled at the price that I wanted, I want to put something a little bit above that. So I'm going to say 33,000. And then the stop loss, I'm going to put it down here, which is roughly 31,000. Remember, I can slide them down, right, and up. So I have that, and as you can see, there's my take profit, there's my stop loss. Now I want to slide that up. Let's say I want it there, and I'm counting on this moving in the upper direction sometime here soon. Now I haven't done a thorough analysis on this, so I don't know which way it's going to go. We just wanted to show it to you here so you can see how it plays out. So that is what you're able to do to the upside. Now let's say I want to protect myself and I want to be like, I think it's also going to go down. It may hit down in this levels here, down here. Here's the nice thing about this exchange. You can actually open shorts, and this is really neat because let me show this right here before I do that. Here is the liquidation price. If price gets down to $161 on Bitcoin, which is not very likely, right? In the short term, it would lose all those $10,273, period. That's a lot of money, right? Which is painful. That would hurt if it was actually betting that. And I keep saying bet, but I don't mean investing that. So this is the challenge of when you're dealing with leverage. This is 1x, so it's not really leverage, it's just a position. Now, if I open a position in the opposite direction, so that means this one's going long. If I open one going in the short direction, I can either open it here, or I can open it over here by clicking open. And I say, you know what, if it gets up to 32,207, let's say 32,207, and it starts to come back down, then maybe I'd want to go short for a short term. So I'm going to put 0.1 again for that. I'm going to sell short with take profit and stop loss. I'm going to take profit, let's say down here at 31,800, and my stop loss is going to be somewhere above here, so I'm going to say 33,200. Okay, again, educational purpose only. So now I'm going to open that short, and all you're going to do is see one line right now because that is an active trade but has not been touched. The second that gets touched, it will enter the trade, it will put a take profit down here, and it'll take a stop loss up in this direction. And what's really nice is that it will be able to I'll be able to gain money on the way down for that trade, and if it decides to go up, I will be gaining money on the way up, which is really, really nice. You can play both sides of it, especially if you're in the middle of a range. You can end up I'm winning on both sides of it. However, you also want to be careful, because if you get stuck in one direction, you get stuck in that position too long, then it's, then you're losing on one, and then the other one, even though it keeps winning, you're really not winning at the end of it all. If that's confusing to you, don't worry about it. You'll figure that out as you go. Now, I promised you that before I got off of here, I could show you exactly how this can be done without you ever losing any money and honing in your skills. So let me talk about that. This is called a Bybit testnet account. A testnet, and we'll put the links below so you can get to it very simply. A testnet account is literally what it says. It is a testnet account. This money that you see in here, it's play money. But you can, and if you were to happen to lose it all, you can hit their customer support. They will go ahead and say, okay, we'll give you some more, so you can practice some more, and you keep doing this over and over and over again until you're at a level where you're like, I am hitting this and it's really, really good. And once you're confident, when you're like, okay, I feel like I know what I'm doing, I've got a strategy where we got it honed in, then at that point you can sit there and go, okay, now I know what I'm getting into. Now I know at least how the system works without you having had to lose a single penny. Now, that being said, I want to point out a couple of things that may not allow you to use this, but also you may benefit from it as well. Number one is this is generally not for US. So the US based market cannot use this system to do some real trading. However, on the testnet, if you do a VPN, and virtual private network, it'll from another country, it would allow you to use their system to be able to practice, and that would be a way to do that. Okay, it's up to you if you want to do that or not. But it's just, if it's for practicing purposes, that would be a really good use, because you understand how it's moving up and down and be able to get a real feel for it. Okay, so that's one thing. The second thing on the testnet account is that it is a testnet account. So sometimes people, because they have all this money and it's fake money, they will take trades that they normally wouldn't take on a regular market. So you'll see that it tends to get a little spiky sometimes. But, somebody will say, oh, I'll bet everything. And they jump in and go for it all. And where in the real world, they probably wouldn't have done that. Okay, so the numbers may be a little off, especially on the smaller time frames. On the larger time frames, it gets a little bit more realistic. And as you can see, if you were to look at the real prices in terms of Bitcoin, you'll see that it's a little different than the other ones. And that's because it's a testnet account. So those are the two things to keep in mind. So don't use it as like, I got it, it's perfect every single time. No, I would use it as a practice of how to use the tools, how to make it so that you can actually hone your skills, and then seeing if you're roughly in the range of getting a trade correct. Now, I said longs and shorts. That means you can trade up and you can trade down. And if you use the testnet account, then you have nothing to lose, because it is play money and you're honing in your skills. And that education, nobody can take away from you, because you are the one that's empowering yourself in your decision-making process. And when you speak to whoever your financial advisor or whoever you're interacting, you're able to speak more intelligently because you've already practiced. All right. So if you like this video and you want more of these, absolutely just hit that subscribe button, and we'll make sure that you have access to those as they come out. Have an awesome day, and may your trading be powerful and abundant to you.